here in Ukraine, and my mom and dad were trying to give me the best we can, I believe. So my mom is a musician, and she obviously gave me to a music school. I was studying some piano, was singing a little bit here and there, like doing some stuff. Also, my mom gave me to acrobatics.
Я чувствовала, что больше его привлекает хореография, которая присутствовала на этих тренировках. Я чувствовала, что это доставляет ему удовольствие и радость. Я, поскольку музыкант, я не выдержала. Я решила и сказала: Даня, если тебе это так не нравится и тяжело, давай выберем. Ну и мы выбрали танцы.
Playing piano and doing dancing or whatever. We had these big concerts in front of big crowds, and one day I found Dota. I realized I like it. When I play Dota, I don't feel pressured, I don't feel afraid, because I'm pretty much used to the crowd.
All started when he was a kid. He was always trying to get some competition, like challenges, like in real life, so same things in gaming.
He is so positive person and he's open-minded, and people can feel his positive energy.
I was playing a lot of Dota, a lot of Dota, and it doesn't really matter for me actually what role I play. It's just about you enjoy the game.
He's not changed at all. Like he was a kid in this middle school, he was like a very funny guy who doing some jokes.
В любой ситуации излучать это добро, смеяться. И вот это, наверное, притягивает к нему. Его любят.
When you have a lot of time to relax, I might go travel somewhere. I might do some activities. I walk around with my friends, with my girlfriend, or with my family. We just stick around the city because city is beautiful, and enjoying the views, enjoying some food.
Когда есть время, я с удовольствием посмотрю какой-нибудь матч. И если есть возможность поехать на турнир, конечно же, я ее не упускаю. И еду поддержать команду и ребят, да, они тоже.
We're watching all his tournaments mostly online, and you wish you could be there and support him and his team, but you can't, and you can just watch and send your energy and power into the screen. Right now he got the youngest fan, it's my son and his nephew, 1 year old. So I think we got more power now to send him.
Вся наша семья следит за этим с огромным вниманием. И я фанат, просто фанат Данила, фанат Нави.
I think I'm a good teammate. I always try to help my teammates. I always try to find a compromise. I always try to be nice to my teammates.
He wants to his team become better, not like only him. So he's always trying to help his mates and work with them like a group. It's like one huge, like machine.
The best moment of my career would be achieving some results with my team DTS in 2010, when we won second place at ESWC at Paris, and when we won third place at WDC in China, Wuhan. And I think next part would be winning TI, obviously, and when taking second place at TI2 and second place at TI3, those 3 years were really successful. Most important thing you sacrifice is time, and you just give everything to Dota. And right now all I do is I play a lot of Dota, I watch a lot of Dota, I watch a lot of replays, I dream about Dota.
Он очень азартный человек. И игры его увлекали настолько, что Он хотел выигрывать, он хотел соревноваться.
I was really sad was not getting to TI because it's important for every Dota player, I believe, to get to TI. I hope this year we can make it. So I'm working towards it really hard and we'll see how it goes. It's a little bit of a roller coaster, but everything should be alright.
Steady. Game on. Coming up next, Na'Vi versus Pain Gaming.
Aloha, comrades, and welcome back. We've got another best of one up next, and this time it is Na'Vi versus Pain for elimination. Winner goes 2-2, which means they'll have to play one more for a chance to make it into the playoffs. Loser going home.
Done. Another one. Man, we get all the eliminations. Okay, I mean,
It's
last one
elimination
wasn't.
day.
But we got the first elimination. Now we get another one. I'm in. And then, yeah, plenty of people going through. Plenty of people going home today. So don't forget to stick around for the draw later on to find out what those later matches will be for the team that wins here. But for the other one, they are done.
Yeah, no doubt. So now we've got Newbie secured the main event.
Yep.
We've got Vici Gaming eliminated. And now another heart is going to be broken here. So Na'Vi versus Pain. Obviously, is it obvious to say Na'Vi are favorites coming in here? I feel like Pain looked pretty good against Secret yesterday, even though they didn't win, and then they had that upset the day before. Where are your numbers at if you had to put odds on it? Are you like 60-40, 65-45? Where are you at?
Well, that adds to 110. So I'm going to go with 65-35. How does that sound?
That is what I meant to say. Thank you for catching that.
No problem. That sounds about right, I think.
Okay.
Favoring Na'Vi a little bit.
right.
And but Pain, yeah, you said they've showed up. Yeah, they've done fairly well. A couple of
So,
these games so far. So
Featured matchup. Who do we have here? I think it's some off-laners to take a look at. And
I'm in on this.
there we go. So General and Tavo. Tavo, the player that grabbed that Enigma in the big upset they had over Vici Gaming, who are now eliminated. Really standout performance from him, as well as King RD going absolutely nectar on that Sand King. Thoughts about this matchup, though?
I mean, the Enigma is just like such a classic hero for him. So it looked very good being on a comfort hero for him. And then that next game against Secret, though, he was on something much more aggressive in the Slardar and trying to just kind of like speed up into Secret, maybe beat them down to a point where they were going to be in control of that game with like that heavy minus armor strat with the Weaver and everything. But didn't work out too well. General, I've always enjoyed him in terms of like he was there was like a revolving door on Na'Vi for a while. People were coming in, people were going out. Oh, hey, Pycat's on Na'Vi. See ya. It was just like, it was very random for a bit. But General he was part of that, and that shuffling and everything, and he was added in there. But he's stuck around for quite a while at this point. He's one of the longer serving members on Na'Vi, and in that capacity, he's also been quite stable. The General Bad Rider, probably one of my personal favorites over that time, but not something they've gravitated too much lately. We got to see their game yesterday in the CIS Showdown, where Dendi had that Lina. Didn't go too well up against Virtus Pro, but VP as well. When they saw the draw and they got Na'Vi, they actually started chanting Na'Vi, Na'Vi, Na'Vi in their booth.
VP seems
They're
pretty
savage.
happy with that matchup.
My God.
I mean, it's a rivalry, right? They've got each other's numbers, so and also Na'Vi did have to play Vega, so we've had the double CIS showdown.
Yep.
And Na'Vi, of course, did take that win
Poor
over
Na'Vi.
Vega Squadron.
It's just like the qualifiers, man. they beat Vega, then they lose to VP, and that's it. That's usually when the qualifier is over. But thankfully, they've already made it to the LAN. But let's hope that their own countrymen won't be their downfall. I shouldn't say countrymen, I should say region men, I suppose. You know, and all from the same general area in the CIS. But
That is correct.
Pain, Na'Vi, Pugna, Razor, Gyrocopter, Visage, and Enchantress.
And now the Tiny. So I guess, again, none of these bans too surprising, though we haven't really seen Gyro in that first banning triplet all too often. So we'll get a little break from the big flat cannon AoE man. It's about damn time.
Yeah. I liked Lil's game on the Doom the other day versus Vega. I thought he played really well, scouting out the map and setting up those easy plays for General, who was
Very
the
active
god that game with the Ravages. Oh, he's out of control, actually.
That was a pretty incredible Tide performance. And now Omni Knight will be the first choice, so likely the off laner for Na'Vi straight out of the gate.
Okay. This is something they have not played a lot lately, so it looks like they're coming into this with a plan. Certainly, something they've bounced back and forth with playing a couple times, but overall they have felt, I would say, more comfortable to ban it when they're in the first pick. They just would rather take it out of the pool, but instead with the first pick here, they've just kind of decided not to ban it, see if Pain will let it slide. And so this is how they're going to start their game. Now, Omni can be a bit slow. He creates problems with matchups, sure. Maybe he can get a little bit fast there, but we've seen time and time again, especially from Ohio. It didn't matter how much gold he got in the lane, didn't matter how well his start was. He wasn't able to translate that into enabling anyone else. So, got to be cautious that doesn't happen here.
Well, Trent, this is the duo that Pain Gaming played to great success against Vici Gaming. It was King RD on the Sand King that went out of his mind, super aggressive, setting up so many kills for the rest of his team, and they did actually have an Ancient Apparition as their second support to pair with him. They did have a Gyrocopter in that game alongside the Enigma and Death Prophet, so a lot of team fight to follow up these two heroes, but this opener seems very much in the wheelhouse of the South American squad there, Pain Gaming.
Well, likewise, Na'Vi going to be grabbing up the Rubik. Decent counter versus the Sand King. Okay versus AA. Sometimes you can get a decent spell up there, but the Omni is certainly a... He's not reactionary when it comes to a save, right? He's much more of a, I'm going to repel you.
Yeah.
Go do something. Not the
Proactive.
like, oh my god, you just got burrow striked and ice blasted. Here, have a repel. Sorry, you lost all your HP already.
Right, the opposite of the Oracle in that regard, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oracle purely reactionary and Omni Knight much more proactive. Honestly, we see Purification used more as an aggressive spell for the damage than we do to actually mitigate damage, which is, it's interesting to see how Omni Knight has gone from that general more passive healing support to aggressive off-laner. You can see Coach Havost there with all of his papers. Looking very serious, knowing what's on the line here. Worth reiterating, loser goes home at the end of this match.
Well, Chen from Pain Game didn't work out too well in the other game. Duster had some issues, and they also lost their first game with it, but still, it is Chen. Probably the strongest support of the patch right now, it feels like.
Yeah, and even
overall.
in that last game where Duster's Chen didn't look too strong, there were moments in that game when it seemed like Pain might be able to maintain the snowball and close it out. They fell a little flat. They bit off more than they could chew, and that Chen ended up falling behind. But, this is, even though they're one of the objectively weaker squads in this 16-team event, Pain has proven, especially with Weehaw at the helm in the mid lane, you cannot sleep on this squad.
Yeah, speaking of Weehaw, his Death Prophet is also still in there. When we're talking about combinations with the Burrow Strike and following up on good setups, that's been a hero that's been quite good this tournament, not just for them. So it might be an option here for Na'Vi to remove, unless they're thinking about trying to save it for themselves here too with the Omni Knight, also a similar combo to Death Prophet and Oracle.
A couple of good mid laners banned out by Pain Gaming, the Outworld Devourer and then the Shadow Fiend. We've seen the power of both of them alongside the Omni Knight, the repel effect, as we've mentioned, so very smart bans. And Void will actually be the 5th coming out of Na'Vi. So this Death Prophet is available if Pain want to scoop it here. And honestly, Trent, I think it's a pretty darn good pick.
Yeah.
And there it is, no surprise.
No, the Void's good ban though. You want that BKB piercing sort of disable, so the Enigma comes to mind, but they already have the Rubik, so a nice little kind of counter pick there, already present for Na'Vi, so maybe thinking that Pain we're going to adjust into something else, and Void would have been a solid option there.
So and that's a good call. The early Rubik does sort of dissuade the potential Tavo Enigma, but is it a deal breaker? Can you play Enigma into Rubik and feel confidently, or is that just a no-go kind of full stop counter?
I wouldn't do it. I'm sure there must be something better. Just play like Ravage instead or something, honestly. I don't know. Try and get the stun off before there's any sort of a play from the Omni Knight again. Maybe go for that idea of the reactionary not being there, where he has to be much more proactive with the repel. So try and start the fight off like that. Much harder for Rubik to make any sort of a steal on Ravage, but still offers a lot of the same ideas.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, the nature of a channeling black hole is what makes it just so easy to steal. You know, just like that Fiend's Grip. It's a freebie every single time.
You want as little of those heroes that have to be inside of the black hole or the chrono or whatever it is as possible. You know, those targets that you're like, I need to get this guy or this thing will not work. So having the Rubik in there isn't going to feel too good. But, Elder Titan making it into that second phase. Oh, this is the hero.
Yeah, pretty surprising. We have seen a lot of teams just first ban Elder Titan. He's been those initial banning triplets, I think more than he's been picked by a pretty significant margin. And now you've got Elder Titan and Rubik on the same squad. So you have a pretty significant amount of damage reduction, right, with the aggressive null field and the natty order. But Pain Gaming,
they don't care.
They're confident. They're going right for the Enigma.
All right. He has other upsides, right? He can lane against that Omni Knight. That was what we saw versus Vici Gaming. He takes away some of that experience.
I mean, it's been said a lot of times, but Enigma is much more than just a big black hole.
Yep.
Right? Midnight Pulse is great percentage-based damage that scales very well. He's got a pretty good stun, and he's an amazing, amazing pusher.
The only problem is because, like, can Na'Vi now find another hero that can deal with this black hole, you know? I mean, you can think about the Core Venge. It's sort of been a Na'Vi thing in the past. Could offer a little bit of early game aggression, too, to maybe give some space over to that Omni Knight.
It's a possibility, but Position 1 Venge always feels very risky to me. You know, it
is,
puts you in that situation where you have to execute. And if you make those missteps, she'll very quickly start to feel like a support Venge. And Na'Vi go back for the Lina, the hero that we were trashing in the opening panel today.
Hey, I didn't trash her.
Okay.
I like her.
The hero I was trashing in the opening panel this morning. I'm still not sold on the core Lina pickup, but this will very likely be the Dendi hero in the mid. I'm curious to see how it will go this game.
Well, a lot of the same ideas in terms of, like, you want frontliners, you want to be able to sit in the back, lob a bunch of damage in. But we'll see if that goes well for them. I guess Elder Titan, Omni Knight, roaming on through. Still another reactionary hero here. They definitely don't have the best options for Black Hole other than Rubik, right? Like, they have to be pretty quick. Lina can have some trouble depending on the AoE, the black hole, where it is, just to get that stun off. And everything is just like such a response from Na'Vi. It's like, oh, here comes the repel, or here comes the spirit into the sleep. If Pain are playing, you know, super aggressive, they had faster initiations, it could be a bit of a problem there from like that Sand King.
Final ban from Pain Gaming will be on the Lycan. Not a successful performance in the last game, but still a scary hero to try and deal with as PL gets banned out by Na'Vi, leading into a Terrorblade final choice to round out their draft.
Okay, TB making it through. Dendi seems happy about it. Slap up those hands. Lil, welcome to the club. Enjoy your time on old ET in this one. Protect me, he says.
Seems like a pretty good Terrorblade game. Several heroes that can help lock people down for that Metamorphosis to do the big damage. As we mentioned many a time, the repel from Omni Knight definitely makes Terrorblade's life a lot easier in that early mid-game.
They have to replace Gyro, or else they'd have the same 5 heroes, but he's banned.
Exactly. So what is... You don't have Gyro, you don't
Luna,
have Terrorblade.
Right?
What's your next best?
When Gyro used to get banned, it was Luna was the poor man's Gyro.
I mean...
That would be quite comical.
Not a hero we've seen touched very much, but you are right that she does sort of fit that same motif. See the high fives from Havost, I think feeling confident about their draft right now. What is the ideal pick for Pain Gaming? And if you say Sven, I will disown you.
No, I'm not on that Sven hero.
Could Juggernaut be the option?
Radiant team pick.
Seems like a pretty good Terrorblade game. Several heroes that can help block people.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Choose
Monkey King. Monkey King.
Ten seconds remaining. Prepare for battle. .30 seconds to battle.
У них есть выходы на центр для убийства Лины. Они могут присоединяться к Энигме на сложную, если Энигма возьмет быстро 3-й или 4-й уровень. И
The battle begins.
I'll take your true gold.
No.
是冰魂也上去了，再是那边杀。
у Минайта, если у него ТП, да, ТП у него имеется, и, соответственно, у Минайта нужно сразу сделать ТП вниз. ТП находит Манки Кинга, а Омник стоит 1x1 против Энигмы. Нави на шаг впереди.
Так, тут подцепили Кингарди. У Кингарди могут быть некоторые проблемы. Лил подходит, попытается его, может быть, даже как-то пробить, но нет, нету Эхостомпа, еще только лишь первый уровень. Лил делает телепорт наверх. Линию будет стоять там, сейчас будет с лесных крипов собирать себе дэмэдж и помогать своему тиммейту, будет помогать, конечно же, в этой ситуации Террорблейду, Кристаллайзу. Ну, понимают, что Террорблейд, так как сместился сейчас на верхнюю линию, он стоять там не может. Пытаются поставить свою сильную даблу против вражеской. И в такой ситуации у команды Нави, мне кажется, шансов побольше будет. То есть дабла против даблы, но есть Террорблейд, есть Элдер Титан. После появления второго уровня на Элдер Титане Лил начнет очень агрессивно отыгрывать. Приходит, правда, и сюда еще и Энштапарейшн.
Только сверху нужен Рубик. Если Рубика на этой линии не будет, то ТБ с Элдер Титаном вдвоем не смогут стоять против Operation Sun King МК. То есть обязательно нужен Рубик, который вот-вот-вот подтягивается наверх. И пока он идет, МК получает преимущество. У него лучший крипстат.
Виха против Дэнди, прям как в старые добрые времена. Но в любом случае ДП весьма-весьма неплохо должна стоять эту линию. Но с другой стороны, опять же, Лина — это персонаж, который все-таки начинает появляться именно с этого патча. Весьма неплохо этого героя подняли. И вместе с Рубиком это, конечно, супер комбинация, то есть дополнительный магический урон. Посмотрим, что же Нави все же смогут с этим сделать. Должны давить, ну, в плане того, что агрессивно отыгрывать. У них все персонажи, которые для этого требуются, имеются.
МК настоялся на сложной линии. МК не нравится стать против 3 героев. В этом случае очень трудно стакать пассивочку. И сад.
First blood on the sand strikes the perfect note.
Только один вопрос. Где саппорт ТБ? То есть почему ТБ стоит на линии 1, почему его никто не прикрывает? Где находится Рубик и где находится Элдер Титан? Чем они занимаются? То есть, как мы знаем, Элдер Титан, точнее, как мы знаем, Террорблейд — это не самый сильный персонаж. В начале игры ему обязательно нужна помощь в фарме полезных артефактов. И в данном случае ТБ просто бросили, он остался один и погиб против 2 саппортов.
Ну что ж, Лил. Имеется у него фласка, в принципе, ПХП он особо ни с кем не разменивался, но можно будет разменяться сейчас либо на мидл-лейне, либо внизу. Таркин руну нельзя ее отдавать ДП. Забирает себе, не оставляет своему мидеру. Хотя, видимо, была информация, да, была информация о том, что ДП ушла с мида и пошла за руной. Генерал с апнутыми стиками, в принципе, отстаивает свою линию довольно-таки достойно. 21 добитый крип на Омнинайте. Очень неплохой результат. Дэнди уже перефармил Виху в миде, но по экспириенсу немного проигрывает Виха. Нашел Лила, попытается сейчас Мингарди его разобрать на двоих, и Лил такими темпами все же умрет, да. Лил отдается, Лил зашел слишком далеко. Здесь, конечно, у Нави стоит вард, но вард стоял немного с другой стороны, и вот такого вот выхода с хайграунда он точно уж не ожидал. Поворотки туда.
Тем временем Энигма на легкой линии стоит, подходит ТБ, подрубает форму, но Рубик находится далеко. Отличный бодиблок демонстрировал Кристаллайз, но бодиблока не хватает. Энигма выживает.
Кристаллайз делает себе Аквилу, все, в принципе, по дефолту. Аквила, ПТ, дальше наверняка какой-то Драгонлэнс после этого. Еще проблемы могут быть. Генерал скинется жить, хороший хостом есть от Лила. Лил попытается сейчас пробить просто с руки Дастера, но не факт, что он сможет это сделать. Работает Джингу Мастере на HFN, HFN очередной раз будет забирать Лила. Да, это минус четверка команды НАТО Свинцера. 3-0.
Да, 3-0 более-менее. Саппорты разваливают. Саппорты были полезны сверху. Саппорты перемещаются вниз и помогают Маки Кингу стоять против Омни Найта и Элдер Титана. И пока упражняется, ну, неплохой старт.
Да, но есть Старблейд, есть Лина. Эти персонажи пока что не показывали все, на что они способны, хотя Дэнди уже довольно-таки силен. Кингарди в это время подцепили, и все-таки Нави оформляют для себя первое убийство. 260 единиц золота получают за саппорта. 4-я позиция. Ну, в принципе, неплохо. Проблема в том, что есть Энигма у Пейн, и если так и выформить быстрый Блинк Даггер, то могут начаться проблемы у коллектива НАТО Свинцера. Ну, да, он в это время фармит, в принципе, ему особо не мешает, его не гангают.
Да, но здесь еще есть и вторая проблема. Энигма получает экспо, у нее появляются аркан-тапочки, и с каждым разом она будет все больше и больше забирать крипов у ТБ. Пока МК воюет на легкой линии против Омнината Элдер Титана, ТБ его перефармивает, но рано или поздно Энигма возьмет свое. Кстати, в очередной раз нашли Элдер Титана, и он снова погибает. Отличнейшая игра от Сенкинга, который снова наказывает Лила.
Можно, пожалуйста, кликнуть на него? У него 3 или 4 смерти?
Ну, 3, по-моему.
Да, 3.
Да. Вот, ну.
Не очень как-то выходит. Ну, Дэнди, проблема, прожимается к засыпке, Кингард не будет цеплять. Бежит он быстро, чем Дэнди. Дэнди подцепили, брострайк довольно-таки долго не спадает. Дэнди получает еще и Крисору в лицо, он так отправлялся в таверну. Леброн подошел, Леброн тоже умирает. Он продал телекинез. Зачем он подошел?
Боже мой, там Деспрофит с ДД и духами, Сенкинг Апарейшн, он берет и подходит. Странно. Ну, в общем, Сенкинг батя, все, что могу сказать. Сенкинг бегает и угадывает все перемещения Лила. Он его поймал справа вначале хорошо, он его наказал снизу и прямо сейчас переместился на центр. Казалось бы, все понятно, казалось бы, Сенкинг находится рядом и нужно обязательно отойти, но вместо этого Нави пошли в замес и в очередной раз проиграли.
Так, используется здесь небольшой подстан, пытаясь подконтролить самую малость Виху, но Виха на это не попадается. Очень сложно пробивать ДП. И та же самая Лина все-таки против героя, у которого большое количество с самого же начала хитпоинтов, не настолько хорошо смотрится, как против какой-нибудь Монки Гинга, например. Пора бы Дэнди начинать продвигаться по линиям, и надо Нави, правда, выйти сейчас какой-то смоуган, потому что HFN тоже фармит, и HFN тут тоже сильно никто не мешает. Конечно, фармит также и Кристаллайз, и, в принципе, 2 топ-крипстата, это была команда Нави только что.
У него ПТшечка есть, он уже нормально стоит на линии. Если Омник выходит, то он разменивается с Омнинайтом, заряжает пассивочку и чувствует себя превосходно. Вот, соответственно, Омнику оптимальнее всего бегать, забирать баунти-руны и где-нибудь под вышечкой откидываться Purification. Вот, вопрос в том, чем будут заниматься саппорты, потому что, как я и говорил ранее, саппорты могут делать все, что угодно. На легкой линии МК стоит хорошо, следовательно, мы идем. Они убивают Лину в миде, допустим, через смог, и они убивают ТБ сверху, тоже через смог.
Ну, пока ничего не планируют делать Нави, они просто фармят, набирают физическую массу.
Они сейчас прошли по варду, и Нави их видели. Они пытаются выйти в центр, но Нави ко всему готовы. Нави тут же отправляется в центр. Дэнди аккуратненько стоит под вышкой, но, кстати, Дэнди могут обойти.
Досталось Леброну. HFM приехал, мне кажется. Генерал прожимает Purification, очень немало дэмэджа влетает. Ну и Трэблей, конечно, под форму уже просто разваливает этого Манки Кинга. МК получилось очень быстро забрать.
Тем временем в центре находился Дэнди. Он вообще не подходил к Т1 в данном случае, потому что Сэн Кинг и Apparition заходили за вышку. Прекраснейшая игра от саппортов Нави, которые вовремя поставили варды, но сюда телепортируется Omni Knight.
Генерал. Нет пока что репела. Прилетает еще и Лил. Готовы Нави на самом деле драться. Они в полной боеспособности. Имеется Guardian Angel. Если вдруг что, если понадобится. Ну, Дэнди откинулся одним Драгонслейвом, и, в принципе, на этом все закончилось. Ну что, Тир-1 Тавр внизу. Нет, не внизу. На мидл линии задана все-таки Лил. Кристаллайз. В это время имеет уже 2 тычки от Манки Кинга. Можно давать последнюю. Чуфэн пытается отхиливаться каким-то образом, пробивает Леброна, но... Убийство команды Пейн — это Лил. Это 4-я позиция. В то время как команда Натус Винсера уже 2-й раз забирает Манки Кинга. У МК будут проблемы. Правда, пушит Энигма. Это очень неприятно. Тир-1 Тавр может упасть. Уже 2-й для команды Натус Винсера. Они ломают Тир-1 Тавр внизу.
Ну, МК принимает весьма странное решение. Он видит перед собой ТБ, который в форме, у которого есть иллюзии. То есть вместо того, чтобы подождать, пока у ТБ закончится форма, он прыгает в него. Прыгает в него, ТБ его бьет, и он забирает. То есть на что рассчитывал МК, вообще непонятно. И пока вот МК делает слишком много подарков для Натус Винсер. Так, Дэнди.
Подробный инвиза. Не знаю,
прошел. Скам прошел, они знают, где Дэнди, они ждут.
Того.
Промахнулся станом. Блэкхолл?
Нет, Блэкхолла используется. Еще хедстоп от Лила. Ну, Блэкхолл, если вдруг что, он могли бы сбить, просто умер бы. В этой ситуации Тава и так умирает, но Блэкхолл не потратил. В принципе, можно будет в ближайшее время подраться.
Тогда не понятно, что они там вообще хотели сделать. Там была Энигма, там рядышком находился Деспрофит, но в решающий момент Деспрофит убежала, Энигма осталась на месте, и чего не ждали. То есть чего не хотели.
Не ясно. Ну, видимо, не ожидал такого огромного количества дэмэджа получить от Дэнди. Таво. Ну что, посмотрим. Пока что все смотрится довольно-таки ровно в этой игре. То есть я бы не сказал, что у Нави есть проблемы, не сказал бы, что еще у Пейн есть прям какие-то...
Ну, у Пейн есть проблема, есть большая проблема, и это МК. МК, если не получает хороший старт, то фармит он медленно. Вот если нам показать МК, чем он сейчас занимается, вот он сидит на дереве. Ну, я напомню, да, это его задача не сидеть на дереве, продолжает бегать, прыгать, забирает баунти руну, и пока больше напоминает МК 4-й позиции.
Здесь Таво смог Блэкхолл все-таки свой прокастовать в Omni Knight, получилось сделать убийство. Кингер ему помог в этом деле. Ну, генерала отправили в таверну. Переехали машину. Счет 7-4, 13-я минута игры. Виха уже с Юлом. Виха, в принципе, в полной боеготовности. Кристаллайз рядышком. Кристаллайз подпушивает эту линию. Не хочет стоять рядом с лоуграундом. Все-таки Тир-1 Тавр здесь не имеется. Его могут легко загангать. Кингерди вместе с Apparition стоят в лесах и готовы, если вдруг что, выпрыгнуть на Кристаллайзе. Кингерди выходит. Кингерди пока что еще не спалился. Виха. Да, должен сейчас в ближайшее время уже Лил информацию дать своим тиммейтам.
Сэн Кинг покупает смог, снизу подпушивает Энигма, а Натус Винсер выходит наверх, как раз там находится МК.
В смоке.
Ну, МК сидит, он продолжает сидеть.
Да, сейчас уже видно, где он находится. Спрыгивает с Primal Спринга.
Продолжает прыгать. Оп.
Ну, еще фэн. Пытается убежать в лесах, но его может найти Лил. Леброн тоже рядом. Да, не решили идти дальше. В это время очередной раз умирает генерал, уже 2-й раз подряд. В этот раз за экзорцизм. То есть, как минимум, ультимейт приходится тратить для того, чтобы убить Омника.
Да, но то с другой стороны ультимейт потрачен рядом с вышечкой. Вышечка постепенно падает, вышечку нужно зачищать. И на защите пока один Лил. Помощи в защите никакой. Натус Винсер старается. Манки Кинг.
That should help.
Раз. Все. Таво.
Haste. The time.
Соответственно, фармит потихонечку. Кингарди. С транквилами, в принципе, до блинка ему осталось не так много. Есть хоста. Санд Кинг. Не может пока что никого за эту хосту подцепить. Ну, в принципе, идет наверх, идет вниз. Что ж, ладно, нужно ждать блинк-даггер на Кингарде.
Да, не торопимся. Сан Кинг забирает легкую линию, пока Энигма уходит в лес. Энигма может фармить лес, там она тоже выносит приличное количество артефактов. У МК дела идут не очень, МК в этой игре слишком много умирает, и ему пора бы остановиться, пора бы пофармить хоть где-то. Вот. Ну и пока Сан Кинг фармил снизу, Лина его наказывает. Лина совершает отличный ганк, Лина забирает Сан Кинга в 1x1, что очень и очень хорошо. И Гейминг придется немножко подождать.
Так, генерал делает форстав. Подходит сюда Виха. Виха, в принципе, продолжает фармить. Имеется уже экзорцизм второго уровня. И экзорцизм не в кулдауне. Лил продолжает подпушивать верхнюю линию.
Ну, у Нави все еще есть время. МК вместо того, чтобы нафармить быстро Battle Fury, как мы видим, нафармил себе персик, и в стэше у него планируется Вангуар. Довольно-таки рисковая сборочка, только из-за того, что если Battle Fury не покупается быстро, то потом ему очень трудно фармить. Соответственно, такой all-in убьет.
Сложно здесь улынить, учитывая то, что он умер уже 2 раза в этой игре, поэтому все равно разгоняется не очень сильно. Если бы он был прям с большим каким-то грифармом, да, может быть, HFM мог бы прямо сейчас пытаться заканчивать эту игру. Заканчивается Рошан в это время, забирает Аегис, конечно же, команда Пейн.
Да, Эрспитер в молоко. Нави ничего не сделали по защите Рошана, и Пейн Гейминг молодцы. Забирают Рошана, но вот сейчас у Нави появляется шанс на успешный ган. Дэнди в инвизе идет, находит Аппарейшена забирает хорошо.
Тастер просто разлетелся там за лагуну, там лагуна, стан, всем он абсолютно попал. Но HFM продолжает каким-то образом пытаться подфармить. Но проблема в том, что Crystallize в любом случае фармит быстрее, чем Monkey King. Если бы у МК все вначале было хорошо, и он делал себе быстрый Б, то да, может быть, он каким-то образом мог бы посоперничать с Crystallize, а сейчас не особо даже верится как-то в HFN в данной игре.
Если МК будет камбэкать, то определенно за счет убийств. Для убийств у Pain Gaming почти все необходимое имеется. Осталось немножко нафармить Энигме до Блэкинг Бара. Осталось дождаться Сан Кинга с Блинкдаггером. И вот он, Блинкдаггер. Вот он, Блинкдаггер. Пошел минайтом днем. Рэп успел повесить и должен спастись. Нет, не спасается.
Ничего не жалею для того, чтобы убить генерала. Генерал действительно умирает довольно-таки часто в этой игре. Но в любом случае, команда Нави в такой ситуации должна понять, что это небольшой такой тревожный звоночек. Потому что Блэк Холл здесь все-таки будет раздаваться. Отлично сыграл Таво, потому что не всегда Энигма все же может дать свой Блэк Холл до появления БКБ, до появления Блинкдаггера и реализует на все 100% своего персонажа. Понимает, что БКБшка появится не прямо сейчас, и поэтому можно будет кулдауном подождать.
МК нет, можно ловить. МК нет, Блэк Холла все еще нет. У Нави появляется шанс. У Нави появляется шанс, так как МК находится на центре, и он не торопится подходить. Он продолжает фармить, а Pain Gaming справа вчетвером. Это шанс для Нави. Это реально шанс для Нави. Вот прямо сейчас они видят МК, и прямо сейчас нападают на Pain Gaming.
Сейчас у Деспрофит перезарядился ультимейт, поэтому можно будет попытаться принять эту драку, но с другой стороны, без МК дело будет слишком сложно. Пока что Дэнди просто фармит идолонов. Догнать не получается при всем его муспиде. Ну и в принципе Нави не особо хотят драться на вражеской половине.
Ну, они могли подраться, пока не было МК, но теперь ситуация резко меняется. Энигма приносит Блэкинг Бар, МК подходит. И у МК уже есть Battle Fury. Pain Gaming продолжают стягивать Нави на защиту Т2 вышки, и МК все это время фармит. Ну вот он, конечно, не догоняет ТБ, но находится где-то рядом. Вот, по Нетворсу.
On the one hand, the late game is better on Pain because of AA. I think Sand King, Enigma, and Monkey King all fit the late game pretty good. The downside for Na'Vi to me would be like the Lina, but at the same time, TV just like opposite another level when it comes to that late game scenario, because one fight and it can just be over. He can just eliminate your whole base, or you can just take that Rax that breaks your economy because now you're just getting less gold from every single creep that comes through that lane. That kind of stuff makes the late game very dangerous against the Terrorblade. The 1 second you step away from the Roach Pit, he just destroys it.
Dyer's
So
top tower is under
Dendi,
attack.
certainly pressure on him heading late, but he's been doing very well so far. Those 3 kills since the Shadowblade.
Not to mention on top of that, Crystallize is very far into the Terrorblade. He's a full 1,000 net worth ahead of the Monkey
Radiant's
King.
bottom
He's already got the
tower is
Dragon
under
Lance,
attack.
and now he's basically got the gold for this Manta style.
Radiant structures
That's a
are
lot of
fortified.
TV illusions they'll have to deal with. Both sides now trading tier 2 for tier 2. Pain up
Radiant's
top
bottom
and
tower
Na'Vi
has fallen.
in the bottom. It looks like Pain are going to keep on going towards the high ground as Na'Vi make the call to back up. Crystallize is going to stick around and maybe try to pressure this tier 3. Generally, it's the right call to force the team back. However, I think Pain might have the pushing advantage at the moment just with that level 2 exorcism alone.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Classic sign
attack.
of the late game oriented kind of stuff where you're just like trading tier 2s, everyone's just kind of waiting. Yeah, we know this is all coming down to some high ground fights. We want TV to be able to get anything done here. Doesn't want to pop his meta.
Oh my, Death Prophet on trouble. See if it's going to expire, but able to make it through.
Radiant's
Now
bottom
GA
tower
popped by
is under
Omni
attack.
Knight.
They've committed to this fight though, and that means that Crystallize is very happy to go into meta, and he's shredding into that tier 3, so Pain have to make the call, and they are going to back.
Yep, King RD blinks in, drops the stun, channels the Epi, and Crystallize will have asunder, but King RD was low enough HP, it doesn't matter. He does a lot of damage to that tier 3, but unable to finish it off, and Pain get a pick off on the Terrorblade without losing much themselves. Rubik did manage to steal Exorcism, which is kind of cool, but
Yeah, that tower pretty likely to fall though, honestly. 60 HP, so in that sense, like if he just keeps any pressure into this lane, any sort of a loop against this tower and breaks this thing, that's going to be a net win, I would say, for Na'Vi, if that then means they can clear up these shrines, because if they then get the tier 2s, that big Roche is going to be theirs.
yeah, definitely the right idea from the Terrorblade, but and again, King RD just so good at making those rotations.
Yep.
Even just knowing that he's coming back on low HP, so he can't get off a full Sunder. You know, that Sand King thought that sequence out and was a step ahead.
Well, we'll see if Dendi's Bloodstone goes as well as Moose did for Complexity the other day.
Yep, starting with those 14 charges, a few more pickoffs. Could be good stuff, but seems Pain are not going to give them that chance. They know they're ahead right now. They've got these ultimates
Dyer's
except for
middle tower
Exorcism.
is under
Yeah,
attack.
okay. I like.
But,
They have no ultimates except Black Hole, but that is enough. They are going to try to group up and pressure this tier 2 mid.
Weehaw knows how important the bottom lane is too, right? So he's bought Boots of Travel. He's just going to keep living down here, and he's going to TP in for the fights. And other than that, he's just going to have to try and ensure that they never get in here to this tier 3.
Also worth noting, the Monkey King did switch up his build, not going for the Vanguard Basher, but instead went Shadowblade.
I wish they would
after
smoke
the
down
Battle
bottom
Fury.
right now. It works so well for them because they're committing hard. They want this tier 3.
Weehaw hanging on
Dyer's
to
middle
the
tower
high
is under
ground is
attack.
Dendi, Shadowbladed. Maybe looking for the opening.
Like, this is such a good trade for Na'Vi.
Yeah, tier 2 mid, they're going to get this tier 3, and
Radiant's
they will.
bottom
Those
tower
are illusions
has
that just
fallen.
shove it down, so pretty low risk rotation from Na'Vi.
Oh,
and it
man.
does also force back Pain, who might be able to get this tier 2 mid. Nope, that'll actually stay standing.
Yeah. Just, now they're in that desperate play where they're trying to make a smoke play happen.
They're going to find Lil and Dendi both in the grave, but LeBron with the exorcism on. Is this actually going to work? Is Rubik not super tanky? Cold feet comes, but general. There with the purification, and now Crystallize joining the party with a fresh metamorphosis. Pain will back up.
Sentry after sentry trying to chase down HFN. It's going to be very close. Get on the third sentry.
Wow.
Guarantees the kill.
They actually found him.
That's a bit costly.
And Duster in a very awkward situation, stuck in the tree line. Those ghouls are going to get him. It's going to be close. No, he lives.
He's like, wait a second, where are those going?
He does not have a TP scroll, and Dendi has already respawned. Remember those Bloodstone charges. That'll take him down to 10. Now Na'Vi considering a high ground siege. There is an exorcism from Wii available, and backdoor protection has kicked in.
Man, this play from Na'Vi has worked out so well, though. The way that they just come down, they push this tower, they force them back mid lane,
Radiant's
Pain
bottom
get
barracks
desperate,
are
go
under
for a chase,
attack.
and now they're on the high ground, whittling away on these range tracks.
Yep, going for the sure damage. It's a smart call from Crystallize. He loses the metamorphosis, but now
Radiant's
King
bottom
RD
tower
comes in
is
with a
under
stun.
attack.
There will be a Sunder available. But What's he going to use it? Ice Blast connects on a few from Na'Vi as Wii gets dangerously low. Does have a buyback as well as an exorcism. Not sure if he wants to use it here, though. Perhaps they'll just let it go. Epicenter from King RD, not doing too much as he steps back to safety. Now the BKB from Tava and the buyback from Death Prophet. Laguna, he's the Death Prophet. It could be a dieback for Wii, but he does survive. GA to try to make the retreat. Will save some, but it looks like Will be the casualty that gets left behind. LeBron also going to follow suit. He hangs back to try to make space for his team, but HFN, he's not going for that bait. Shadowblade and Dendi up in one. General might still be able to make it out as he pops the drum charges, Force Staff, and Phase Boots. He's just too damn fast.
Oh, and the replay coming out here too as well. So, yeah, almost able to get something down. But then that Boundless Strike initiation from LeBron with the steal.
Yeah.
Totally saves Crystallize. Pumps
Good
out the damage
Sunder
after.
from Crystallize, and unfortunate that Ice Blast wasn't able to hit Terrorblade there. Obviously, Sunder does go through it, but still struggling to find the damage in that team fight. And a smart play from Na'Vi as well to take this fight, knowing that all of the ultimates, or some of the ultimates from Pain, were on cooldown, and they're not able to get that perfect staggered team fight.
Definitely a time where that respawn, as you'd mentioned before, comes into play. Dendi just got back down to that fight so fast. Didn't matter the whole Black Hole, Ice Blast shenanigans. If anything, they just kind of abused that. And that was all the play that comes from not cutting your losses. Just feeling like, okay, we made this rotation back. Like, they got outplayed by Na'Vi, but you just need to accept that. Instead, they say, okay, we all TP'd back. Let's smoke after them. But where are Na'Vi? They're holding your high ground, you know? You're just running into them desperately. You're initiating with a Sand King when everyone's too far away, pumping that damage. And although it kind of worked out, they got the Black Hole and the Ice Blast and everything like that. Had they not chased, they probably don't end up losing their range racks, you know? Just stabilize, maybe just try and push out lanes, go back for something else, think more about that Roche Pit. Now there's a fight at Roche Pit potentially. I mean, there could have been no Black Hole, but in this case, it will be back in time. Just things a little bit riskier than necessary coming, I would say, just from kind of wanting to almost like not admit you were wrong, you know? You just feel pressured, like, well, we all TP'd back. Let's smoke at him, guys.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the ideal thing.
Roche 2 has respawned, so Aegis and Cheese will probably be that objective that both teams look
Look at
towards.
this. Smoke with the gem. This is the game-winning fight if you can
Radiant's
find
top tower is under
it. At least
attack.
getting back into it, because right now things getting a little bit out of control. Scan.
They
Let's
see
find it here.
the Elder type.
King RD stepped in.
He
And he
definitely
misses.
goes in. Telekinesis will slow things down. Connects on 3 as General walks into it, but he will get interrupted. The damage was done as HFN sets up onto LeBron and Crystallize so low. Is he going to be able to get off this Sunder? It's a nice stun from King RD, but they don't have it. They can bring him down, and now it's 2 dead. The smoke works out. Na'Vi unhappy with that one for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we know later in the draft they didn't respect the Enigma. They had the Rubik already. The Enigma got picked up, and they didn't choose something else to deal with this. They said, all right, LeBron, this is all on you, buddy. But Tavo, that means he only has a 1 that he needs with the +1, and he got Rubik and TB right next to each other. All that matters. He missed it on that initial initiation, but this is that whole idea of, like, you don't want to be the initiator as Enigma, right? We talk about creating chaos, creating to jump in after the fact. That's what King RD did for them.
We going to be the one to
on
grab the Aegis this time, and I guess Cheese will go the way of the Monkey King. Also a misplay from the Omni Knight there. He was not caught in the Black Hole, but got a little bit too close and walked into it. Now on that jungle initiation onto Dendi. He does deny, so well done with the Bloodstone, but also a good catch from Pain. Remember, that gem is in the inventory of Sand King, so now the Shadow Blade from Dendi, a lot less effective. They're pinging out General here as if they want to have a good one. Weedhog charges in first, uses that Yule Scepter, but telekinesis from LeBron stops him dead in his tracks. Pain will be repelled.
Have taken control back of this game, though, even down the range racks. Having the Battle Fury Monkey King, you'll be fine. You know, you can keep pushing this wave. You can deal, only losing a little bit on the economy because of the range creeps. But other than that, everything is fine. They still have their shrines as well, even though they lost the tier 3 a long time ago.
A lot of BKBs on the way. Monkey King pretty close to his, as well as Crystallize on the Terrorblade. Both of them prioritizing that magic immunity. No big surprise.
Na'Vi are smoking into them right now. They want to create a push down bottom. Maybe it's just a kill the shrine, but it kind of looks like it's going to be a go for the melee racks here.
And there's that BKB on Monkey King coming out right on point with the Terrorblade. So a lot of potential, but Avi trying to fight around these
20 seconds,
cooldowns.
Black Hole, 12 seconds, Exorcism, Aegis, Cheese. This is risky.
This is very risky. Pain just need to buy themselves a little window. They do have the glyph, and that might just be enough for those big cooldowns to come up. HFN sort of in the front lines doing what he can, but it's crystallized with a repel. Does force the glyph.
Tavo wants that big play. Where's LeBron?
Wukong's command comes out maybe a little early. 4 stabs, and Na'Vi just retreat. Pain Gaming not able to stagger their ultimates the way they like. We also committing the exorcism. 2 big ultimates from Pain, and it seems they will get nothing for it.
Okay, so they drive back Na'Vi, but the mana lasts long enough that you can easily clear up the shrine. So nice by them. Net win. That wave was shoving in pretty far up top for Na'Vi too, but shouldn't end up being a problem. Someone will just go back and deal with that. Although General currently lacking a TP. In fact, many lacking TPs. They have no TPs. Crystallized TP. Dendy's running. He's got bots.
So Na'Vi, I thought maybe they'd try another push here, but very much respecting prowess of the Tavo Black Hole. Yeah. So they'll just head back to friendly territory and continue farming.
Yeah, they're hiding. They're not exactly sure. One Na'Vi have gone, so losing out on a little bit of time where they could be farming here just because they don't have any vision across the map.
Dendy down to 7 Bloodstone charges. Far from ideal. Not quite the Moo Timbersaw Bloodstone experience we were hoping for.
Yeah.
And also Tavo, looks like Octarine Core, relatively close for him. He's got the Soul Booster and about halfway to that Mystic Staff.
Yeah, he's got that 15% CDR, so just gonna pump that up a little bit more.
Yep, that's right. Always that debate. You go for the 120 gold per minute or the cooldown reduction. If you have the Midas, I think more Enigmas gravitate towards the cooldown reduction as it helps your economy and, of course, brings Black Hole to a more reasonable cooldown. Still ridiculous, but a little better.
Yeah, playing quite nice. And Weehaw struggling a bit. He got those bots quite a long time ago, so LeBron just hanging out nearby. But he has been eyeing up this Black Hole, or rather this BKB for a while. Once he sells the Null, though, it's going to be very close.
Oh, still a little bit of time on the Aegis, but about 90 seconds or so will be reclaimed on the Death Prophet. Pain maybe thinking about making a play while they have that second life, but as we've seen, DP not necessarily the best Aegis carrier. You lose that exorcism if you die, so coming back to life without exorcism.
Oh, that spirit's gonna go right through them all. Oh, hello. Oh, looks like they're all up here.
Radiant's
trying to
tower
bait out the Monkey King while each been playing like up into the trees.
You can see Na'Vi, once they scout it out, they immediately start moving to that bottom lane and say, hey, you want to push top? We're pushing bottom. But in this situation, it's only it's a melee barracks. Okay, so they killed the range barracks. Definitely worth it for Na'Vi to maybe sacrifice a little tower damage so they can push out bottom. But with all that said, Pain do not commit to it. They just let the Monkey King press forward and everyone else does retreat.
I'll take your
HFN hoping that maybe a lone support would be here, something he could bully.
Yep, that's exactly what Monkey King likes to do.
They just lost their mid tower for free, didn't they? From the creeps. Those catapults went to work.
Wow, the double catapult.
Oops.
It's a little freebie for Na'Vi right there. It happened. Not at the end of the world, but one outer tower now remaining for Pain. It is that tier 2 at the top.
Still holding the same lead they gained from that Roche fight. Won't be holding that Aegis for much longer, as I believe it's about to dissipate. And that means we have to start thinking about the old Shard fight.
Oh, yeah. And also, look at this Na'Vi itemization. 3 4 stabs now. We saw it be a key tool to disengage Dendy from that bottom fight after the exorcism, and Wukong's command came out a bit early, but now they're up to 3 4 stabs, really prioritizing that mobility to get away from the Monkey King and the Death Prophet.
It almost saved Crystallize as well. King already just had that follow-up stun. You know, Crystallize kind of got TP'd away from that follow-up damage from the Black Hole in the top shrine fight.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that'll be enough. But yeah, Weehaw's BKB, that will be the one we'll be looking at. He has the cheese now too, so he is definitely ready to engage in this next battle. It's gonna be very hard to bring down. They don't have the best with the BKB being there. It's essentially all reliant on that Terror Blade. So Crystallize's own BKB gonna be extremely important. Still sitting at 10 seconds.
A very even game right now, Trent. It's a small net worth advantage. Pain Gaming, but 1K or so, maybe about 2,000. One team fight completely turned the tides of momentum. Definitely slowing down his momentum, though. I mean, he picked up that 4 staff, but he's still on the 7 Bloodstone charges. And ever since they picked up that gem, he's basically not been able to use the Shadow Blade.
Yeah, exactly. Has a hard time just like roaming around the map and not even looking for kills at this point. Really, if you were the Nip, you'd love to just be able to show up in waves, suddenly take one out, you know, keep applying that pressure onto your opponent. But at least he has TV for that. I'm just glad this game wasn't a complete stomp or thrown away or anything like that. I don't want our day to be over yet.
Exactly.
It's been a great morning.
And we've said it a
not
couple
ready to be
times,
done.
but Pain has proven at this point that they're not a team that you can walk into and think, oh, this is free win. They don't know what's going on. They can hold their own against some of these world-class teams, and they've even been able to close out a win, maybe another one. Lincoln Spear coming up next on the Monkey King, so going from aggressive items to now slightly more expensive, prioritizing the survivability.
You can certainly feel that struggle that Pain are having of exerting any pressure right now, though. It certainly feels like the game is in Navi's hands. The Terrorblade threat is a bit much. The wave control for him is a bit more empowering for their side. Gives them some better vision. And they've also been winning this battle. I think both teams still have a gem. Yeah, they do. But the vision has been pretty highly favored for Na'Vi for the past while now. Yeah. Some of these sneakier wards versus gems, like you can see the one where they've cut that tree. They placed up top just above the Roche Pit. That's one of the best wards that you can do in any game against a gem, because it's almost never spotted by the gem. Yeah, you got to cut the tree for it. It's the only issue.
Very hard to find. The Octarine core finished on Enigma, so that takes the black hole down now to a 100-second cooldown.
He just walks right by it. He's like, "There's no ward there. How can there be a ward there?" Ha ha ha! Nice gem, nerd.
But I mean, the hurdle's kind of over for Enigma. You know, the way Na'Vi was able to get that bottom lane barracks, you can't play around that 3-minute cooldown anymore.
Yeah.
It's now a very reasonable spell. So both teams having this moment of a stalemate. You can see Pain are in a very aggressive position. That ward you were mentioning, giving Na'Vi all the intel they need to make sure they don't get caught unaware.
Yeah, they know they're in there. But we have gotten our timer now. It's going to be a minute and a half until the Roche fight. That might decide the fate of this game. The last one kept Pain in it. This might be the one that kind of puts them over the top to actually getting to that high ground of Na'Vi and dealing some serious damage. So 5 heroes in the base for Na'Vi, 5 heroes. 4 heroes plus a Death Prophet with bots. That counts. That's 5 heroes in the Dire jungle.
It's good, though. I mean, if we didn't have the bots, then this probably would be a dead melee barracks. Although might get caught here. If he black holes, it would be incredible. But no, he blinks away just in time. They're not able to catch him. Arcane Rune on top of that. That would be a 66-second cooldown black hole. He's able to make use of it. Eidolons get stolen by Rubik.
You know, in the early game, when you smoke for that like minute 1 kill, and you're like, okay, this guy needs to be in front right now. You got to be in front because then you lead in this and this, and it's so like simple. They needed the Rubik in front. Why was Terrorblade in front? What just happened?
Dendy catches Duster, so they will get a freebie there. But
if Rubik's in front, Tavo's dead.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. Maybe they don't
discipline.
Maybe they were just really not expecting an Enigma to be standing there. You know,
you're smoking. You gotta come on now.
Well, I don't disagree, my friend. Expect Tavo to be where he wouldn't be.
Dota 2.
Oh my. So either way, Tavo gets away with it. And now Pain gonna start to press up towards the mid lane again. Roche very close to respawning, about 15 seconds. It is one of the longer respawns. Eidolons heading into the pit. So they will see as soon as the big boy comes up. But Elder Titan, he's got plenty of scouting potential. Na'Vi positioned very well to contest this.
Jeez, I tell you, General's been drawn all over the map. It looks like he's the one calling most of the shots in this mid to late game. He's got scribbles everywhere. Look at that, here he goes again. He can't himself.
Things coming out aplenty.
You look really smart if you just scribble over the whole map, because he's always drawing over all the Pain heroes, because he covers like half the map every time. But from what we can tell, General seems to know where they are.
At least has a pretty good idea. King RD is still the gem carrier for Pain Gaming. Speaking of frontliners, he'll be the one that has to kind of sniff out the Lina when she's shadow looking for initiations. They put down some wards and Crystallize, just checking out the Roche Pit. Ice Blast flies in, and Pain get confirmation that Na'Vi are not in the pit. Meanwhile, King RD blink forward, stun on the 2 top. Perfectly done by HFN. Now the Wukong's command, and they'll find 3. Dendy does deny, but he actually stopped the Rubik from getting that counterplay.
I mean, there was no TV there anyway. So they put the ball pretty much in the black hole, but there was certainly no chance as long as you're making that play.
It's just showing the coordination of Pain Gaming. They know they need to support this, but still, it is a 5v4. Exorcism is on. Wee has the cheese from last time, so we will have a reset. BKB from Crystallize has already been popped. A little bit of duration left. It's a nice stop. Dendy getting stunned up, though, and getting so low. This could be a dive back for the Lina, and it is. KRD gets picked off, but he buys back to boot. Crystallize without a BKB could be in some trouble. Do they have the stuns to stop the stun? like the Death Prophet will not survive. This is Navi's fight.
Oh my god, how did they win that?
They
That's
killed 4 on the side of Pain, and I think now Roche does go the way of the Dire. Metamorphosis still has some duration left. HFN maybe looking for an Aegis steal, but needs to be very careful. King RD with Epicenter. They want the Aegis steal. They want the fight, but I think they're lacking on damage. They're going to lose HFN, and King RD, he's about to die back as well. They dust him, and it's a full 5-man wide. Pain. Oh my god. No, HFN. It's not going to work.
Going to fight Roche by
right. The bottom lane is pushing in. He's got to finish off these range creeps, or else that melee barracks start taking some pretty decent damage. Wow, what a swing. It looked like Pain were in control. The double buybacks from Na'Vi felt very costly, but in the end, more than worth it.
I mean, where has Crystallize been this game, though? He's been the one inside those black holes. He's been stuck, and with that black hole down, this is Crystallize going like crazy in this fight. Yeah, he gets the cheese off, but what do you do? Look at Crystallize. He's untouchable.
Yeah,
they can't do anything.
I love the patience on the BKB too. He didn't panic. He waited as long as he could before using it. Got great use out of that magic immunity.
And they missed the Ice Blast. They needed that. Like, this Sunder never would have happened if Duster connected with that. He had to be more patient, much like Crystallize was. That silence comes over to the Sunder.
But now back in the main game, Tavo getting initiated on Na'Vi. They want to push this advantage. They don't think it might be here. They could be better. Ice Blast to follow up. Pain might be able to mount this defense. The Earth Splitter comes in. The Sunder does bring Tavo low, and Crystallize still alive. He has his treasure shard sitting in the bag. Buyback now for Tavo. Pain desperately trying to hang on. He'll use the glyph, and now Crystallize on the run. He's got the Sunder is back up. Crystallize is destroying Pain right now. The BKB is ready. Force stab to the low ground. He kills Duster, kills King RD, and now Pain are trying to pursue. They want to punish this as HFN Primal springs forward. Does find the stun on TP. Instead, they focus on Lil, who is just trying to make the escape. It will not happen as Spirit Siphon slows him down, and Tavo looking to chase General. What a ridiculous exchange.
Crystallize, that was so risky to go for that refresher shard there. He does it. He gets off the BKB. He gets off the Sunder. He's playing out of his mind this game. When he's not caught in a black hole, he's making I mean, at first, the games look so easy. The fights, he's just a turn. But this fight, I mean, the skills were coming out from Crystallize.
Look at this. I mean, it's a beautiful ultimate from Tavo. They've got the Wukong's command and the Ice Blast. It's enough to get the kill on Dendi, but they just needed some way to stop this Sunder. He's so low, the Aegis comes first. But once he comes back to life, they are low on resources to control him.
Yeah, just nothing left in the tank. It's so close to dying. And no, by the way, I use Refresher Shard. Thanks, King RD. Mike, I mean, that's like double digits HP.
1% HP for sure. And has the meta just unbelievable. You're right. Risky, risky, risky. That is the word to describe that play. High risk, high reward. It does pay off, but my God.
Yeah, and those double force staffs though, right? General first gets him off the high ground down there, and then when he's running a little bit more, you got Lil coming through with another force staff to save him. Had to sacrifice his own life, but certainly worth it. Keep Crystallize farming across this map. Now, mind you, Dendi, that's I don't want to look at the Bloodstone jokes. They're gonna love it low.
Yeah, down to 2, so pretty far from ideal.
Hey, he's the space maker. It's been working out so far.
I mean, after this last exchange of events, it kind of felt like Na'Vi was starting to take over this game a little bit, but the gold lead's still very manageable. Only about 1,000 in favor of Na'Vi, and Pain Gaming mount the defense. They didn't even really take that much structure damage. They're tier 3.
Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty low, but they're still hanging on to barracks. It's just that range that fell earlier on.
Yeah, it's like every time Pain grabs some momentum and feels like they're in some sort of control, it's just being culled by Na'Vi.
Yeah.
And then they're maybe not getting the most out of that, but as this goes later and later, if Crystallize keeps playing like this, it's going to be so hard for them to win because it just all comes down to Tavo. And not just Tavo, but also poor positioning from Na'Vi, right? As long as the Brawn is outside, he should be fine.
Yep. Duster with a rapier queued up on the Ancient Apparition. That's adorable.
Okay, perfect.
But a couple of big items now on both sides. The Butterfly completed for the Monkey King, but Terrorblade has the MKB in transit right now on the Courier. So kind of one step ahead deal with that evasion, but more so, Trent, Lincoln Spheres getting stacked up for Pain Gaming. We is going to go for the Scythe of Vice instead, so they have the Hex, but they're going to have at least 2 Lincolns, and I think the idea is, well, one way to stop the Sunders is to block it out.
Looks like Crystallize is tired of the Solar Crest from DP too. He's gonna hop into the old MKB to help deal with the butterfly, of course, the more important item, but no more evasion for you guys.
King RD able to TP home, and as we cross the 45-minute mark, it is still either team's game for the taking. Remember what's on the line here. Winner stays in the tournament, loser making an early exodus out of the prize money.
I think the choice for HFN this game is pretty interesting in terms of his ultimate choice for the 25 talent with the +1 ring or the armor Wukong's command. I think his logic is that he'd rather get the damage onto the supports and these engagements and make it more difficult for LeBron to come in for that like steal with the black hole and everything. But you also look and you're just like, oh my god, but the armor, right? You like that armor that's not going to get negated by Elder Titan. That's armor against a Terrorblade. He's the one shredding you. But there's so many Force Staffs that if he's not BKB'd, he's inside. He might just get pushed outside of that smaller Monkey King ring. So the double ring kind of worked both ways, slowing down the supports on the enemy side, as well as just ensuring you're not going to get staffed out of it by the enemy team because there's so many of them they're stacking right now. But man, I mean, if you've ever played in a game with that +100 armor, it is kind of insane. It feels like a totally broken talent.
Caught by the telekinesis, he will BKB, TP, and Splitter interrupts it. That's a death profit.
Not the most common spell you think of when canceling a BKB TP, but when it works out, it works out. And the time
hard to line up, you know, it has that.
You need the 0.14 seconds. You gotta get a little head of pie to make sure that it works.
Explode delay. Yes, there you go. That was the 9-second BKB on Death Prophet, mind you, so still relatively fresh. Weedy does not have a buyback, so he's out of the game now for 60 seconds.
Radiant scan. See if there's anyone up on the pie. Correct. I really wanted to kill out of Den, but you know, a few blood charges.
You have that Gemo thing, so Dendi not going to be saved by the Deathblade. Maybe the BKB will be enough, or the repel rather, from General. 2 bouts of magic immunity, not going to find the kill, and Pain will very quickly back up. And they need to make it back to the base because Na'Vi are starting to close in. They want to go high ground.
This is the time. There's no way Na'Vi get this one without some serious structure damage. I can't envision a way that there is not a melee that's taken. Well, let's find out if Tavo can. They begin now onto that secondary tier 3. Where's Tavo? He's not here. He buys, or he's got the bots now. They're going to go.
Radiant's They're going to TP back. They've already used the glyph. Tier 3 falls. Tavo, the minion. You can see the Ruger on the longer on the Tavo jumps out. It's just the Terrorblade. It does get stolen by the Ruger at the center from King RD, but LeBron being very patient here, just waiting for his opening.
And he's ready. Ooh. This is very scary.
This is so bad for Pain right now. Crystallized with defensive Sunder to heal himself back up.
And they got the melee racks all at the same time. As he said, great patience for LeBron, not just instantly cancel. He understood Crystallized was going to be okay. You know, he was so very far outside of the base. There was no follow-up damage.
And plus the Omni was also outside of it, so some additional heals. The GA was used there, so that is one of the things going Pain's way. But it seems they're going to lose this entire lane. There's the stun on Black Hole, connects on 2. Monkey King in big trouble as the Elder Titan stock follows up with the blade on the Weed. He pops the BKB, but Earthsplitter brings it down. 2 down without buyback, and this could be game. Make it 3. Na'Vi have all of a sudden exploded. This LeBron stolen Black Hole has shifted the tides, and now Mega Creeps are a reality for Pain Gaming. Monkey King just now gets his buyback. There's a pressure for Tavo. Maybe that will be enough. They'll try to make this final hole. Tavo needs the Black Hole in his life. But where's the damage? Duster doesn't have an ultimate, and there's no Wukong's command for the follow-up. Tavo dies. He does everything he can, but the support just isn't there, and this looks like it could be the end of Pain Gaming's run in the Bucharest Major.
Just Na'Vi have been in control of this game. It didn't matter what objectives they took from Pain. They couldn't quite push deep enough, and it came down to a lot of those maneuvers. Getting down that bottom lane, the very early tier 3, creating this pressure down here. The minimization of the boost of travel onto that DP essentially came because of that. Delayed that BKB, and they lost his key points because of it. And Na'Vi take it. They will remain alive.
All right, CIS fans rejoice. And in the tournament, that makes them now 2-2, meaning they'll have to fight the next round through the draw. Winner of that moves on to the main event.
like Earth Splitter was such a key spell, but he used it to interrupt BKB TPs. It does interrupt Enigma's Black Hole, and in that fight, it actually broke up the Chaos to allow them to turn. Another ultimate from Tavo, catching multiple heroes. The follow-up from HFN.
Like, how do you get 3 like that? That felt like a great Black Hole, but it didn't matter because Terrorblade. You know, he wasn't the guy you brought down during that, and then they couldn't get him in this fight that followed up right after.
And this was it right here. It looked like such a big lead for Pain. They go into the Roche pit, but Crystallize, patience on the BKB, lays in all this big damage.
And this is the Ice Blast right here that essentially secures the loss of the fight.
Yeah, it misses everything.
That was
needed to hit Crystallize there. This would have been an entirely different outcome had that Ice Blast connected.
Like, actually,
100%.
like the game will be completely different.
It would have maybe changed the entire game.
There was a silence then on General. There wouldn't have been a repel available. Crystallize would have died. And that Refresher Shard, those combos were insane. The whole game.
This is the Refresher Shard moment here. Tavo turns on low HP.
Like, imagine that twice.
Great
Another
black hole. This time the Wukong's command and the Ice Blaster there, but they don't quite have the damage. He pops the BKB.
Yeah, these solo plays, man. Like,
goes down with the Aegis, puts the Refresher
Wait,
Shard.
do you see a team? I don't see a team. This is just Crystallize.
He puts it back out of the backpack into the inventory, down to literally 30 HP. 30 HP as he's standing on top of a Midnight Pulse, and he's able to completely reset with a Sunder Metamorphosis. Incredible.
Yeah, and then the team comes through. The 4 staffs out. The sleep from Lil. If Weehaw had his BKB there too, there was even a chance like for a chase and everything, but small, like very like mini mistakes, it felt like, from Pain, really costing them.
Yeah, this was almost the last black hole of the game, second to last.
There's
when
that
Pain
Earth Splitter again, man.
gets wiped up. And when you get to this stage of the game, the amount of damage Earth Splitter does is
percent
insanity.
based.